Clinton, what made him such a special player and a special talent?
I just think his drive, what Sean wanted to accomplish was unknown.
I'm Sean Taylor, University of Miami, the hardest hitter in the draft.
With the fifth pick in the 2004 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Sean Taylor, safety, University of Miami.
And he goes out the next week and took 40, 50 pieces of tape and just taped up his face mask.
I'm in awe because I'm so green out of Utah State. I'm looking at him going, you just do whatever you want to do, huh? I like that. I like that.
And he's short.
It's just, as CP mentioned, like his determination and his drive.
His team grappled with how to spend a season and a lifetime without him. Taylor still felt responsible to be the man of the house for his mother.
He was like, Auntie, I'm going to play football and I'm going to make money.
Miami was his home. It would also be his college, and the position he would play for the Hurricanes was of great interest to junior running back, Clinton Portis.
I hadn't heard of Sean Taylor, and all of a sudden they fixing the incoming recruit highlight film, and I'm like, they slid one in on me because his highlights were all running back. He jumping over people's head. I'm like, who is this? And I remember calling Coach Solinger like, who is he? And he was like, he's coming to play safety. He don't want to play running back. I'm like, what?
I think we did real good. You know, we caused some turnovers, we made plays, scored a touchdown. So I think we did good, and we did what we practiced. You know, we ran around, flew around, made tackles, and made plays.
Clinton, what made him such a special player and a special talent?
I just think his drive, what Sean wanted to accomplish was unknown. Like, you don't go out and set the bar as high as Sean set.
One guy will catch your eye. That's that big free safety, Sean Taylor, at 6'3", 220. These people like to leave their fingerprints.
Short kick, 37 yards, returnable on the reverse. Sean Taylor! Sean Taylor!
Randall on the option keeper, into the secondary, and loose ball again. And Miami's got it again.
After just 3 years at Miami, Taylor declared for the draft, drawing the attention of a former teammate, now in Washington.
I remember, telling Coach Gibbs and Greg Williams, like, we need to draft Sean Taylor.
And he would call on the phone and he'd go, Sean.
The fake. First down and Sean Taylor touchdown. 47 yards.
Looking for help. Gets it off. Big downfield. Fight for position. And it is intercepted on the rebound by Sean Taylor. Keeps it. Throws it to the end zone. And it is picked off. Picked off by Sean Taylor. He threw it right to him. He had double coverage.
Fielded at the 17. Sean Taylor. Taylor trying to weave his way through some traffic. Still on his feet. He's got great strength. Here's Sean Taylor in the open field. And now Hill's the man to beat again. All the way to the 15-yard line.
Intercepted by Sean Taylor, who goes down and shows the relief for the Canes as Miami.
Watch the kick, scoops it up, Sean Taylor. At the 14-yard line.
Opportunity to draft a guy that's going to impact the game, such as Sean. I'm Sean Taylor, University of Miami, the hardest hitter in the draft.
With the fifth pick in the 2004 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Sean Taylor, safety, University of Miami.
There was only 4 of us drafted in 2004 from the Redskins, Sean and I, and then 2 offensive linemen. We went to the rookie symposium together, and I remember Sean asking me in the room, what is this? I said, well, it's 3 days that teach you how to be an NFL football player. You go through all kinds of stuff, and he said, oh, I'm not doing this. what are you talking about? He said, I'm going back to Miami.
We had a player leave. You all are reminded that nobody leaves without coming through me, getting permission to leave, no matter what, unless you're in an ambulance.
I'm in awe because I'm so green out of Utah State. I'm looking at him going, you just do whatever you want to do, huh? I like that. I like that.
He kind of charted his own path in life. You were going to have to earn your way with him. He wasn't going to be somebody that just came in and immediately would, have a close relationship with you and be willing to do whatever you want him to do. He's his own man.
Sean had great instincts of people, and that he wanted you to be honest with him at all times, and one dishonest comment, one thing from body language, he was great with that too, would turn him off.
The judge dismissed the drunk driving charge. Taylor, who rarely talks to the media, broke his silence briefly.
Feel good, man. I'm glad to be living. Glad to be walking, breathing, smiling, talking.
That whole first year, I think, was pretty traumatic, really. And I was kind of looking at it as a coach going, man, we got a great player, but this guy, he's going to be hard to handle.
He was never one of those guys to be like, what you're reporting about me or the stories you hear are wrong, here's what really happened. And so from the outside world, when you hear those things, you perceive them as the truth. And then the misconception people have is that, okay, we hear these things about him living recklessly off the field, and we believe them because we watch him play football. And when he plays football, he's reckless. And so people thought that was who he was, but it wasn't.
If he could have continued and played out his career, I mean, we're talking one of the greatest ever.
I think he was one of the greatest ever already. So
really,
it's not if he continues to play. I think for what we saw in the short period of time we saw it, he's already one of the greatest ever.
I told the equipment manager, take the face mask off, get it off before he goes out there, gets another fine. And so they put it in my locker, and I'll be damned if he didn't go ahead and tape up the one they put on anyway, and he still went ahead and got fined.
What a big guy for safety.
When I first got here in 05, I used to see this BMW sitting in the parking lot all the time. And I remember asking Porter, like, who car is that? He like, oh, that's Sean's. And he giggled about it. And so I'm like, why is this car here every day? And he like, oh, Sean, man, he normally runs home. So, I'm sitting here like, what? I mean, one day I caught him, I'm leaving out late, and I see him just running down the street. Those are things that now you look back at when we play the game, never got tired. That's why, because he put in the work behind closed doors that a lot of guys don't do.
We'd be up there in the office and you'd go look at that, and it'd be Sean before practice, running 100-yard striders on the field. Now the coaches told him to do that. Just in his mind, that was something he felt like he should do.
His determination and his drive, everything was a dude that just wanted to be the best teammate that he could possibly be, and be the best dude around us as a group of guys while being the best on the field. I thought he did a great job of it.
What a good feeling, huh?
I really think fatherhood changed Sean. When he hit fatherhood, it was the idea to be the best parent that he could be. And would have been a little girl, he always wanted to be around her.
He was a great father, and he was very passionate about his family, and it became, this was his life.
When we was going out and we asked him to come out, he like, nah, I'm gonna chill with my daughter. And he wanted to be around her and watch her as she grew.
We were actually getting ready to go to Tampa Bay to play, and I had just had a son. I just remember him in that conversation being so in depth, and he was like, man, you lucky. I was like, last conversation we had.
He had unusual instincts for where the ball was going to be. I remember we were in Philadelphia, and we had to win the game to get in the playoffs. And all of a sudden, late in the game, there goes the ball flying around. Who comes up with it? Sean. He had a knack for just big play.
Every game, he'd do something to let you know that he wasn't from this planet and all of us were.
tackled immediately, fumble on the play, and Fred Smoot picks it up. They're going to say it was down by contact, but that'll force a punt. The middle, Sean Taylor caught the fumble, rips it out. Ball fumbled to head forward to the 27-yard line. Oh, what a good tackle, huh? Well, it's intercepted by Sean Taylor inside the 5. They're coming after him. Over the middle. It is intercepted. Sean Taylor's got it to the midfield strike. Hit at the 41, and Sean Taylor puts him down. Slowed him down at the 40, and Sean Taylor filled that hole nicely and took him up and took him down.
He took him up high, too.
He did.
He is strong.
Yes, he is.
That's a knockout punch, baby. Wow.
You've seen a couple players in the last couple of weeks, be subjects to shootings, and it's just a life-changing thing with one shot of a bullet or whatever the case is. It changes lives.
It was like the sense of like peace inside of him. It was just like, I remember like going to sleep that night and being like, God, like if it could just be like this every day, like, wow, like my life is gonna be amazing.
Some jolting news off the field on Monday. Redskin safety Sean Taylor in critical condition after he was shot in his Florida home early Monday morning. Police officers were dispatched to Taylor's Miami area home at 1:45 a.m. and Taylor was later airlifted to a local hospital.
I woke up to banging on the door. It was like boom, 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 boom. And I remember opening my eyes and I looked at the window. And when I looked at the window, it was still dark out.
And I banged on the door, and I could hear him start crying immediately. And he opened the door. I was in tears. And
Rising star in the NFL is dead, cut down by gunfire less than a day after someone shot him in his own home. Washington Redskins player Sean Taylor died from his injuries early this morning.
It was tough, man, I dealt with a lot of losses in life, as far as family members. And I don't know why his meant a lot more to me than anybody else. That day, when he passed, man, I was a different person.
At that moment, it's not much you can say. It's like, it's reality. He gone, and you can't bring him back. I think so few of us get the opportunity to say, I love you, or I appreciate you, or I look up to you, or, you don't get the opportunity to pay homage or respect to people who make an impact in your life. And I think just looking at the daily from knowing Sean Taylor from that day on to where my life went from where I was at that moment in hearing of Sean's death to becoming a man or becoming the person that I am now is totally different. And I think a huge part should be paid to the respect and the homage.
I had already made up my mind that I was going to forgive him. But I wanted to know if, he was worthy of it.
I know my words may not mean much. Over the past 6 years, I learned that Mr. Taylor was a good man. And I'm not making excuses for my decisions or my actions.
He was trying to say he was sorry, but he wouldn't look anybody in the eyes. I stood up and I said, look at me.
I live with his death every day, and I'm gonna have to live with the consequences. And I'm truly sorry for his loss.
I wanted to know if he really was sorry. He wouldn't look.
There's not a day I take that jersey off of a hanger and I don't think about it. People ask me, why am I wearing number 21 in practice? Every day I wear it, it sparks up a conversation about him. For as long as I play, that's what I care about.
That's why I make plays, I thought reduce one. To this day, I still throw them up.
I had this obituary in my living room. I had this picture up for a while, just to remind me, what's important, and just his memory.
The thing I miss most is just knowing that he's here.
I catch myself watching a lot of his highlights on YouTube and just bringing back old memories and just reminiscing.
For that little bit of time that we shared here, that time meant a lot. And that's why it probably hurt me so much, because you ain't gonna get that again, you know, until I meet him on the other side.
In the days after Sean Taylor's death, his team grappled with how to spend a season and a lifetime without him.
I was asleep in bed. I looked up in the corner, heard his voice, I saw him. And he said, "Coach, that play's over. Let's get on to the next one."
Should be paid to the respect and the homage of Sean. You know, I think knowing him as a father, knowing him as a friend, just knowing Sean, period. The Sean Taylor that I knew at the time that I knew him, everybody didn't love him, and that's why he wasn't in the media. You know, people perceived him the wrong way, and then all of a sudden, once he's taken away, once he's gone, everybody, you know, it's all of a sudden like, wow, this was a great guy. This wasn't a bad guy. This was a guy that's like me, or this was a guy that was trying to provide for his family. So, in knowing the Sean Taylor that I know, it's great to see the love that he gets. You know, everywhere I go, every day, is somebody gonna mention Sean Taylor. Is somebody gonna show me a Sean Taylor tattoo, or, you know, and it's like crazy because you don't realize you affect this many people.